Well, hello. I was wondering if the computer was ever going to respond. It sat there with that little thing going around and around and around like it was thinking after I clicked go. Anyway, I've been sitting here at the computer for the better part of an hour, staring at the myself on the camera, reflected back to me, of course, in the monitor, and looking again at the blurb that I had written last night. And I've got little ants crawling on my computer this morning. That's the second one that I've seen. Anyway, the title for the video today is If All You Want to Do Is Argue with Me, Go Away. After going to hear a wonderful and uplifting concert, I made the mistake of reading new comments on the most recent video before this one. I invite all of you that don't like what I say to simply go away. I don't want you on my YouTube channel or Facebook page. I will go back to blocking those who try to engage me in arguments. My job is to heal and to share the vision I have had most of my life. Peace on earth, with truth and justice for all who choose to live honestly and as lovingly as possible. If you want to fight, please go somewhere else. And of course, I wrote that last evening after coming home from, as I said, a concert. Uh, and I was feeling quite uplifted when I arrived at home, but I turned on the computer and started reading the latest comments. And one lady, I don't know, even remember her name, and it doesn't really matter, I guess, really triggered me. I mean, I wrote that blurb before I went to bed. So even when I first woke up this morning, before my feet even touched the floor, I was pondering this again. Do I really want to tell people that they're not welcome on my page when I've tried to be inclusive throughout my life? I've tried to include everybody, even the cabal. I'd like everybody to wake up, stop fighting, and come home. The Anastasia book, I mean, she gives a view of the world how God created it to be before it got distorted. Now, I don't know how many of you have heard of the Anastasia books by Vladimir Megra. Uh, there's 9 books altogether. I've read them all. I read the first 4 in 4 days when I received them. Read the next 2 in a couple more days after I received them. And then, of course, they were coming one at a time as they were produced in English or translated into English. But Anastasia's view of the world is the way I believe God intended for it to be. For us to know who we are, for us to be empowered, for us to be enriched, that everything we need, God has provided for us. Everything we need. But we've created a distorted system where we lie to each other, where we fight with each other, where we don't live in harmony with our own being, let alone with each other. I know because I have felt the discord in me this morning as I say to myself, do I really want to tell people to go away? Do I really want to tell people to get off my channel? Because it's true. Some people, all they want to do is argue. All they want to do is call names and say that I'm lying or this or that. I don't want that. I went through life-threatening experiences this year. And for a couple of months after I came home from the hospital, I could I could barely keep my breath. Barely keep my breath. I mean, I would walk from one room into the to the refrigerator and I'd be out of breath That's how bad it was. For a couple of months, that's what I was going through. As long as I was sitting down and not moving around a lot, my breath was okay. But as soon as I would exercise at all, I'd be I'd be gasping for air. Now I know what it's like to go through that. Many of you maybe don't know what it's like, but I've had to make healing my number one priority. I've had to make getting my strength back, getting my body back where it's functional and where I can exercise. I wasn't exercising before I got sick. I was sitting in front of the computer hours and hours most every single day, unless I had something that I wanted to do outside, of course. Then I wouldn't spend so much time that day, but the many days, most days, I was in front of the computer, like Peter Van Runt. He was spending 20 hours a day working on the Swiss Indo project. And yes, I've invited him to come and talk, but not about Swiss Indo. Swiss Indo is passé. It's gone. It was I believe a scam that was pulled by the cabal that told lies to Mr. Sugi. I want to believe that he had good intentions. I want to believe that I'd like to believe that everybody in my world, in my life, has good intentions. As I've said before, I gravitate toward those that offer help with the possibility of being able to do something, like the ambassador. And a lot of you still want me to push the ambassador away. I'm not going to do that. I'm disappointed that he hasn't come through with what he promised me from the very beginning, but he's not a bad person. And I want to see good in people. I don't want to see and focus on what I don't want and what I don't like. I don't want to do that in other people's lives any more than I want to do it in my own. I want to focus on what makes me feel best and what strengthens me, not what weakens me and tears me down. And I don't want that kind of, if I want stress, I want it to be exercise, that I'm stressing my muscles so that they grow stronger. But I don't want that spiritually. I don't want to fight the battle and have to argue with people. Arguing is not the way of it. Not the way of it. I'd like to be able to make you understand, or to help you to understand what it is that I'm trying to get through. The only way we're going to change the world is to love ourselves and to love each other. That's the great commandment. And when we do that, we're loving God. We're loving the Creator, because we are part of the Creator. The Creator separated himself or itself, whatever, into other beings, each reflecting the infinite possibilities that were given to us. And we've used those infinite possibilities, obviously, not in a very healthy way. I'm sorry, it's not in a very healthy way. Now, for a long time, when I was ignorant, when we were ignorant, we went along with it because it's what we thought. This is what life is. I see something different. I see something better. I see something more noble and higher and wiser and stronger and more loving. I see something that will fulfill us. And I want to get out of this rat race of constant turmoil, of constant argumentation. I hope I'm making myself clear to you. It's not that I want you to quit Facebook and stuff like that. It's not that I'm trying to shut you up. But don't call me names. Don't say I'm a liar. I'm doing the best I can to tell the truth as I see it, as I understand it to be. And I have points of reference that some of you cannot relate to. Well, then maybe just leave me alone until you can come around to see what I see. But anyway, thank you for listening to this video, and namaste.